Have you ever seen someone roll their tongue as a party trick and thought, that's not that impressive? It turns out you're not alone. It's believed that 60 to 80% of people can do it. So let's be honest, it's less of a party trick and more of a party snooze. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, or should we say tip of the tongue? There's so much more to come on today's episode of the Infographics Show. 50 insane facts about a tongue that you had no idea about. Number 50. So tongue rolling is far more common than you think. A 2022 study indicated that the commonly accepted 60 to 80% success rate may be a little low. The study found that 83.7% of people can roll their tongues with no trouble at all. So go on, give it a try. But what about folding your tongue? Number 49. That same study found that only 27.5% of people are able to fold their tongue. This is when they can curve the tip and the edges of their tongue upward and into the bulk of the tongue, like a little compact tongue taco. Next time someone shows off their tongue rolling skills, up the ante and challenge them to fold it instead. Most can't, but it is possible that practice makes perfect when it comes to folding your tongue. Number 48. Your tongue tricks are written into your DNA. The natural ability to fold your tongue depends on an active recessive gene, while rolling it comes from the dominant allele. That means that with enough practice, you might be able to teach yourself. Studies discovered that some of those who kept trying could eventually teach themselves to fold their tongues. One study saw a family of 13 being trained to fold. 2 of the 13 managed to learn within 2 weeks. That means you may still be able to pull off an impressive party trick if you just keep on trying. Now that's a skill to put on your resume. Okay, so that's plenty of folding and rolling facts. How about tongue size? Number 47. The average human tongue varies between men and women. In men, it's about 3.3 inches measured from the epiglottis, which is a piece of cartilage at the front of your larynx, and the very tip of your tongue. Women's tongues are just a little bit shorter, coming in at 3.1 inches on average. It's likely that testosterone is the difference maker here. When boys go through puberty, their bodies release higher levels of testosterone than girls' bodies. Much of the growth that results focuses on the jaw, chin, and mouth, leading to boys generally having longer tongues. And one boy has a larger tongue than everybody else. Number 46. Nick Stoberl holds the Guinness World Record for the longest human tongue. It measures 3.97 inches. Okay, so that might not seem much bigger than the average tongue, but realize that Guinness only measured from his bottom lip to the tip of his outstretched tongue, and that means there's about 3 inches of tongue in his mouth that wasn't included. Nick's tongue is so massive that he can hold 5 ring donuts on it. He can even lick spilled ketchup off of his cheek. Who needs a napkin? It's apparently a great conversation starter, with Nick always being asked to stick his tongue out when he meets somebody, which brings us to our next fact. Number 45. Some cultures use sticking out the tongue as a form of greeting. While most people might see it as an insult or a playground taunt, the people of Tibet say hello by letting their tongues swing free. It's a tradition that's been around since at least the 9th century, and it stems back to the reign of a king named Lang Dharma, who supposedly had a black tongue. Many people believed that the king had been reborn after his passing, so they would stick their tongues out to prove that they weren't him. That strange greeting is now seen as a sign of respect in Tibet. And we're just getting started with our tongue facts, and there are plenty more crazy tidbits to come. Number 44. Did you know that your tongue might put on weight when you add on a few more pounds? A 2014 study found a link between tongue weight and obesity. Yep, your tongue might be packing on some extra padding as fat forms on it when you gain weight. So if your speech feels a little sluggish, it might be your body's way of hinting that it's time to hit the gym. Speaking of muscles, your tongue is not one. It's 8. Number 43. Your tongue is actually a collection of intrinsic and extrinsic muscles working as one. The intrinsic muscles handle tasks like speech and swallowing, while the extrinsic ones do the heavy lifting, literally, by positioning your food for chewing. Despite there being 8 muscles in your tongue, most people still refer to it as one. And it's the only muscle in your body that isn't completely connected to your skeleton. The 4 muscles are free spirits, not tied to any bones. Number 42. Your tongue is your only muscle that's capable of working independently of the bones to which the rest of your muscles are connected. That's because it's a muscular hydrostat. And you're not the only animal to have one. An octopus's tentacle and an elephant's trunk both work in the same way as your tongue. Independent muscles with no bones in sight. Let's come back to length for a minute. An extra large tongue comes with its own set of problems. It leads to more drooling. Number 41. Some people struggle with a condition called macroglossia, which might sound like a superhero name, but it's more of a troublemaker. Eating, swallowing, and even sleeping can become tricky, not to mention the constant battle to avoid drooling. But don't worry, it's extremely rare and it's usually tied to specific conditions, like Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. So most of us can rest easy knowing our tongues are just the right size for the job. But what about your tongue's main job? Helping us to taste food. Number 40. Your tongue contains around 10,000 taste buds, though the averages do vary depending on the tongue. Interestingly, there's no difference between the number of taste buds on a child's tongue and those on an adult's tongue. Despite the difference in size, you're born with 10,000 and you keep them for most of your life. We say most because… Number 39. Some people start to lose some of their taste buds as they age. The magic number seems to be 50, when your taste buds might decide that they're ready for an early retirement. In fact, this kind of loss explains why 200,000 people visit doctors annually for issues with taste or smell. But there's good news. We say may because not everybody who reaches 50 suddenly finds food less exciting. Taste bud losses are often linked to other culprits, like respiratory infections or poor oral hygiene. So remember to brush and floss. Your taste buds will thank you. Despite this, your taste buds are surprisingly versatile. Number 38. These microscopic buds are capable of separating the flavors in your food into 5 basic groups: sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami. That last one's a trickier flavor than the rest because it generally covers savory foods, which often come with a mix of the other 4 flavors that your tongue can detect. But it's not your taste buds alone that are responsible for you picking up the different flavors in your food. They have a little help in the form of receptor cells. Number 37. Each taste bud in your mouth carries between 50 and 150 of these receptor cells, and they only exist on your tongue, nowhere else in your body. Ready for some quick math? If you have 10,000 taste buds, that means your tongue has anywhere between 500,000 and 1.5 million of these cells hard at work every time you put a morsel of food in your mouth. The receptors last only for a week or two before breaking down and being replaced by fresh recruits, so you can keep on savoring every flavor. We've given you a nice taste for tongue facts so far, so let's move on to another important tongue function: talking. Number 36. Your tongue is the MVP when it comes to talking, letting you churn out between 110 and 150 words per minute in normal conversation. If your tongue keeps you below 110 words per minute, you're in the slow and steady speech club. On the other hand, some people can hit a speed of 250 words per minute. Think auctioneers, rappers, and sports commentators. 250 words per minute sounds impressive, right? But it's nothing compared to what some of the world's fastest talkers could pull off. Number 35. Believe it or not, there was once a man who could use his tongue to spit out an unbelievable 637 words per minute. His name was Stephen Woodmore, an electronics salesman from Britain who didn't just have the gift of gab, he had the speed of the gab. Stephen snatched the record from John Machida Jr. in 1990, though he himself lost it to Canada's Sean Shannon, who managed to achieve an incredible 655 words per minute. Let's go back to the taste factor: saliva. Number 34. Your tongue is basically useless without saliva. It is the magic sauce that makes tasting possible. It plays a key role of moistening the food that you pop into your mouth, which is essential for activating your taste buds. Without it, your tongue dries out and your taste buds pretty much go on strike. It is the unsung hero of taste. Number 33. Remember the 5 basic food flavors we mentioned earlier? Sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and umami? Which of those will be the first that you typically taste when you eat a piece of food? If you answered salt, well, you're a winner. And the reason why comes down to saliva again. Salt dissolves quicker than most of the other ingredients in our food, which is why our tongues typically pick up on salty flavors ahead of anything else in our food. In short, your tongue is an extremely sensitive collection of muscles. Number 32. The tip of your tongue is the single most sensitive part of your body. The reason why comes down to nerve endings. The 12 nerve that runs through your tongue splits off into between 50 and 60 nerve branches, each sprouting dozens or even hundreds of tiny nerves. Most of those nerves converge at the tip of your tongue, creating a hotspot of thousands of nerve endings. Why does your tongue need to be so sensitive? Number 31. Your tongue is like the ultimate quality control manager. It needs to know exactly what's going in and out of your mouth at all times. Thanks to those nerve endings, your tongue creates a magnifying effect, making things feel bigger than they actually are. And there's a good reason for this. It's your tongue's way of helping you catch unwanted surprises like bones, hair, or dirt before they make it any further. It's also why your tongue is so good at tracking down every last crumb or morsel left behind after you swallow. It's like your own personal cleanup crew. How about we bust a myth next? Number 30. Have you ever heard how there are different areas of your tongue that are better at tasting some flavors than others? One part of your tongue picks up salt and the other is better with sweet stuff. Yeah, that is a complete myth. There is no evidence to suggest that different areas of your tongue taste some things better than others. Your entire tongue is covered in taste buds, including the side and the bottom, and they're all just as capable of tasting everything as each other. The tongue can do it all when it comes to taste. And our tongue facts get even crazier than that. Did you know that your tongue is a health indicator? Number 29. Your tongue's color might be dropping hints about your health. For example, a red tongue could mean you're low on folic acid, a vital B vitamin found in cereals and green veggies that helps your body form new cells. Without enough folic acid, your tongue might struggle to grow the new receptor cells it needs every week to help your taste buds keep working. So, if your tongue is looking red, it might be time to check for a folic acid deficiency or scarlet fever. This contagious infection is more common in children, so parents should always be on the lookout for a pink tongue turning red. But what does it mean if your tongue has white layers on it? Number 28. A white tongue might be your body's way of hinting at oral thrush, also known as mouth thrush. The good news, it's mostly harmless and it's not contagious in adults. But your tongue won't just stop at turning white. You might notice an unpleasant taste in your mouth, food not tasting quite right, and even some pain that makes chewing and swallowing feel like a chore. Your tongue can be a bit dramatic when something's up. And there's more. Number 27. Have you noticed your tongue has taken on a strange dark shade far from its usual healthy pink? Maybe it even feels bumpier, almost as if it's hairy? Don't panic just yet. These could be signs of excessive bacteria growth on your tongue. In rare cases, darkening of the tongue can also be a sign that you have cancer. We don't want to scare anybody, just think of this as an Infographics PSA. If your tongue changes color, it's probably time to see a doctor. At least that's the case for most people. Number 26. Some people have what's called a geographic tongue. This is when your tongue develops bald red patches surrounded by irregular white borders. The condition can show up at any point in your life, and it might even lead to the loss of papilla, the tiny bumps that house your taste buds. But don't worry, your chances of having it are pretty slim. Experts estimate that it's only between 1 and 2.5% of the population that have it. Potential triggers include stress, diabetes, hormonal imbalances, even psoriasis. If geographic tongues teach us anything, it's that tongues can be very different from one person to the next. In fact, there is no can be about it. Number 25. Every single tongue is unique. That's right, just like your fingerprints, your tongue is entirely your own. Not even identical twins have matching ones. Tongues vary in length, width, and geography, and even the intricate formation of the papilla we talked about earlier. And that brings us to number 24. Your tongue might be the key to identity verification in the future, although we're not saying Apple will make you lick your iPhone anytime soon. Maybe. A 2016 study found that your tongue's uniqueness could make it useful for biometric evidence. Police may soon find themselves asking the people they arrest to open up and say "ah" to collect tongue prints for forensic or identification purposes. We would rather stick to fingerprints. We're a little over halfway through our list of tongue-tickling facts. We have 23 more coming your way, starting with something that a lot of people choose to do with their tongues. Pierce them. Number 23. Tongue piercings may look cool, but they're also prime real estate for bacteria in your mouth. Your tongue already plays host to millions of bacteria that help with eating and digestion. So throwing a piercing into the mix can upset that delicate balance. Think of it as a homing beacon for microscopic nasties that you definitely don't want setting up camp. Studies show that about 3 out of every 51 people with tongue piercings end up developing infections. While that is not everyone, it's enough to make you think twice about adding extra hardware to your tongue. Number 22. Tongue piercings take the crown as the most popular oral piercing. A 2012 study found that over 5% of oral and perioral piercings are tongue-related, easily beating the next favorite, lip piercings, which only 1.5% of people opted for. Still, the chances of bumping into someone with any oral piercing are pretty slim. That same study revealed that only 5% of young adults choose to pierce anything in or around their mouths. So while tongue piercings may reign supreme, they're still a pretty rare sight overall. And who is getting those tongue piercings? Number 21. Women are far more likely to get their tongues pierced than men. A study found that tongue piercings are about 4 times higher in women than men. There are a number of theories suggesting why that might be. Some suggest women see tongue piercings as a form of self-expression or a confidence boost, while others believe it's a way to rebel against societal norms. Whatever the reason, it's clear that for many women, a tongue piercing is more than just jewelry, it's a statement. From sticking things through your tongue to rubbing stuff against it. Number 20. It's important to brush your tongue regularly. In fact, tongue brushing is as important as teeth brushing when it comes to oral health. We've already mentioned that your tongue is a natural home for bacteria. That is totally normal. They're supposed to be there. The trouble starts when the wrong kinds of bacteria move in, especially those that feed on the tiny bits of food stuck in or on your tongue. Neglecting your tongue can lead to problems ranging from bad breath to more serious issues like oral infections. So give that tongue a scrub. Number 19. Despite the risks of bacterial infections, a surprising number of people skip tongue cleaning altogether. A 2023 study found that about 47% of people don't bother cleaning their tongues at all, and it might be even worse. Other research mentioned in the study suggests that as few as 20% of people give their tongues a proper scrub. And there's a good reason why you should want to keep your tongue healthy. Number 18. Your tongue is one of the few muscles or collections of muscles in your body that works constantly. Doesn't matter whether you're awake or asleep, your tongue is always on the move. It has to be, because our mouths don't automatically stop producing saliva when we fall asleep. Sure, the amount goes down, but you're still making those mouth juices, with your tongue being on constant vigil to push them down your throat and keep you swallowing even when the lights are out. Number 17. Think those bumps on your tongue are taste buds? Nope. That's a common misconception, but your actual taste buds are microscopic. You can't see or feel them. What you're feeling are papilla, those tiny bumps we've mentioned before, and they play a huge role in how your tongue works. There are even different types. The larger circumvallate papilla sit at the back of your tongue, while the smaller fungiform papilla hang out at the sides and tip. And when it comes to taste bud density, size doesn't matter. Those little fungiform papilla pack an average of 1,600 taste buds, while the bigger circumvallate papilla only host around 250. Speaking of taste buds, did you know that they're not just found on your tongue? Number 16. Not only are those little buds all over your tongue, but they're in your throat, soft palate, and your epiglottis, which is that flap of cartilage that we mentioned all the way back when we covered tongue sizes. How about another mouthwatering fact about saliva? Number 15. Every millimeter of saliva in your mouth contains around 10 million bacterial cells. Your mouth is basically a microscopic metropolis. Your tongue works with these bacteria, sloshing them around the food you eat to help break it down and prepare it for digestion. Don't worry, those bacteria aren't harmful. In fact, they're part of a helpful community that calls your mouth home, living on your tongue, cheeks, tonsils, and palate. Talk about tongue teamwork. Next up, a challenge. Try to say "she sells seashells by the seashore." Number 14. Every language has its own tongue twisters, those tricky little word combinations that tie our tongues in knots. It's believed that tongue twisters create bottlenecks in your tongue's ability to plan and execute movements, throwing its coordination completely out of whack. Basically, your tongue isn't used to those word combinations in everyday speech, so it panics when you try them. It's like asking your tongue to solve a puzzle it hasn't seen before. Let the chaos begin. And it gets even more interesting. Number 13. Your tongue and your brain might join forces to trip you up on tongue twisters. A 1982 study by Ralph and Lynn Haber found that college students took longer to read a tongue twister silently than it took them to read simpler sentences of the same length. So the next time you're trying to tell the tale of the girl selling seashells by the seashore, don't be surprised if your brain feels tangled as your tongue. It's a team effort. Number 12. Your tongue might cause you to have sleep apnea. Remember how we mentioned that some people's tongues get bigger when they get a little on the chunkier side? Well, that extra fat can actually cause the tongue to grow so much that it blocks your airway, leading to breathing issues while you sleep. In most cases, losing weight can help slim down your tongue and clear the obstruction. For some of us, the tongue can even become a super taster. Number 11. A super taster is someone whose tongue is packed with more taste buds and receptor cells than the average person's. Essentially, their tongues are turbocharged. Super tasters aren't made, they are born with their heightened taste sensitivity. About 25% of people are thought to have this unique ability, with women more likely to be super tasters than men. This means they're especially sensitive to bitter flavors in food. While that might sound like a superpower, it can also mean that Brussels sprouts and kale taste even more bitter. Though, let's be honest, you don't need to be a super taster to feel that way. Sticking to taste buds for a moment, did you know that they exist for more than just helping you enjoy tasty food? They're actually survival mechanisms. Number 10. Our taste buds are the result of constant evolution, particularly when it comes to the bitter and sour ends of the taste spectrum. Both tastes can indicate that the food you're chomping on could be rotten or even poisonous. So that makes your tongue an early warning system for your body. When something tastes bad, your tongue is screaming at you to not swallow it. We're into the top 10 of tongue facts. Keep watching to learn about a tongue so big it could easily crush you. Number 9. Kids' tongues are actually more sensitive to tastes than adults' tongues. If you ever had a child outright reject what you're feeding them, you probably witnessed this firsthand. The science behind it is pretty simple. While kids and adults have roughly the same number of taste buds, kids' smaller tongues mean those taste buds are packed closer together. That higher concentration makes their tongues extra sensitive. So little Jimmy turning his nose up at broccoli starts to make a lot more sense. And honestly, can you blame him? It's broccoli! Let's move on to something many of us do with our tongues: licking our fingers. Number 8. Finger licking might not be as frowned upon as you think. In fact, 73% of 2,000 Americans surveyed said it doesn't bother them. Why? Because most of them are guilty of doing it too. Our tongues are designed to explore flavors, and so it's only natural to use them to savor those tasty little morsels clinging to our fingers. After all, why let good flavor go to waste? Number 7. There's a reason why you find it so hard to speak unfamiliar languages. It's because your tongue literally doesn't know how. Remember, your tongue is a collection of muscles, and it's trained to move in a specific way for the sounds you use every day. Throw a new language into the mix and your tongue gets all confused. It doesn't know how to shape those unfamiliar sounds, but just like any muscle, your tongue can be trained. With enough practice, it'll start nailing those tricky sounds and unfamiliar shapes, and you'll be conversing like a local. How about some animal tongue facts? Number 6. There are a number of animals that have figured out how to weaponize their tongues. The animal kingdom is full of tongue tricks, and the giant anteater might just take the prize for length. Its tongue is so long it can reach deep into termite nests to snag a snack. There are toads and frogs who use their sticky tongues to snatch unsuspecting insects midair. The alligator snapping turtle uses its pink worm-like tongue as bait to lure in prey before delivering a crushing bite. But the real MVP of tongue skills has to be the chameleon. This color-shifting lizard wields its tongue like a high-speed cannon, shooting it out to grab insects with such speed that it's one of the fastest tongues in the animal kingdom. Number 5. The chameleon's tongue can shoot out at an incredible 62 miles per hour, almost as fast as your car cruising down the highway. The lizard's tongue reaches that mind-blowing speed in just 1/100th of a second. Blink and you miss it. And if you thought that was impressive, the rosette-nosed chameleon takes it up a notch. Its super elastic tongue can stretch up to 2.5 times its body length. Number 4. Tigers may not use their tongues to hunt, but once they've caught their prey, these tongues get to work. A tiger holds its soon-to-be meal firmly between its paws and starts licking, not just for taste, but to prep the meal by removing what it doesn't want to eat. Tigers have serrated tongues that work like nature's cheese graters, stripping fur, feathers, and even skin off their catches. Number 3. The tube-lipped nectar bat holds an impressive title in the animal kingdom. It has the longest tongue in comparison to body size of any mammal. Its tongue measures 150% of its body length, making it the ultimate nectar-sipping tool. This little bat uses its extraordinary tongue to reach deep into flowers and suck out the sweet nectar that keeps it going. Number 2. You've probably heard the old saying, "Cat got your tongue?" when you're at a loss for words. But did you know this phrase has some serious dark origins? The phrase dates back over 2,500 years to ancient Assyria, where criminals and enemy soldiers faced a gruesome punishment. They would have their tongues sliced out. And as a horrifying twist, the severed tongues were fed to the king's cat. That's right, the cat literally had their tongues. Thankfully, the saying has remained, but the practice of tongue slicing hasn't. Number 1. The largest tongue in the world is so enormous, it could literally crush you under its weight. That tongue belongs to the blue whale, the world's largest animal. Its tongue tips the scales at a jaw-dropping 10,000 to 15,000 pounds. That's about the weight of an African elephant. And it needs a tongue that big because its mouth is so massive that the blue whale could easily fit 100 people in there without breaking a sweat. Which tongue fact surprised you the most? Got any of your own? Let us know in the comments below. Now go check out 50 insane facts about pain, or click on this video instead.